Hi and welcome. I'm Jason Gray and this is book 19 of 50 that I'm going to review and break down for you guys in 2019. Alright, this week's book is How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds by Nicholas Boothman. Quick read, just under 200 pages. Important to understand the concepts in here, and I think if you read this book first and then read the book that I reviewed earlier, What Everybody is Saying by Joe Navarro, these two books can really go hand in hand. So let's get into the premise of this book. Hey, whether you like it or not, people decide how they feel about you in the first 2 seconds of seeing you or hearing you if it's on the phone. If they like you, they will unconsciously tend to see the best in you and look for opportunities to say yes. If they don't like you, the opposite is true. To keep this book very simple, although it does go into some detail in here, think about your friends or your family or the people you spend the most time with, that you enjoy being around the most. Those are typically people that are like you in a lot of ways, or at least in some major ways. Maybe it's they're good at basketball, you're good at basketball, you spend a lot of time playing basketball with them. Maybe it's you're both singers. Maybe, think back to school, there was the jocks or the nerds or the preps or the football players or the gothics. The people who are wearing all black and into rock and roll and piercings and tattoos against the nerdy people that didn't really even listen to music, that were just into studying. They hardly spent any time together. They didn't feel comfortable around each other. Why? A lot of the world, the way they see things, was totally different. However, what if a person from the preppier group wanted to connect with and communicate with somebody from that rock and roll group? How would they do that? How would they end up being received well? Well, the answer is you got to be like a chameleon. If you really want to connect with other people, you've got to understand them, the way they talk, the way they look, what they like, and basically mirror that or match it. All right. Hey, the secret of success is not very hard to figure out. The better you are at connecting with other people, the better quality of life you're going to have. Is that true for you? I think it is. Look, we're all social beings. If we're left all alone, we get lonely, depressed, irritable, but out there in the world with people, to some degree, it makes the world much better. The key to establishing rapport with strangers is to learn how to become like them, be a chameleon. Fortunately, this is both very simple and a lot of fun to do. It allows you to look on each new encounter as a puzzle, a game, a joy. So what things would you be looking for? Well, you'd be looking for what words are they using? How are they dressed? What are their mannerisms? Are they comfortable? Are they uncomfortable? Do they talk fast? Do they talk slow? Do they talk with a lot of excitement? Do they talk very monotone? Do they move their right hand a lot, their left hand? What do they do? How are they standing? And can you match or mirror that? Can you get to their level? Can you relate to them? At least in the first 90 seconds to warm them up and get them to like you. You only get one chance at earning rapport and credibility and a first impression, and then it just goes from there. Look at this though, keep this in mind. 58% of the way we interpret somebody is through body language. 55% is body language. 38% is through the tone of our voice, and only 7% are in the words that we use. Now think about this when you're in business or training or sales. A lot of times we're saying, well, what's the right way to say it? I mean, what's the saying here? What are the words? What do I use? And they're important, and you want to be a professional, but that's only 7% of the weight when it comes to communicating and connecting with others. 55% body language, 38% tone of your voice. So focus more on what is my body giving off, what's my voice giving off, before you worry too much about having all the exact things. So what do? Well, you start to get to know someone. You're seeing the puzzle. Maybe they're sitting like this and sitting back and kind of straight-faced, and they talk a little slower and deeper. So initially, you want to do something similar. Okay, so the first 90 seconds in there, I'm observing this, and if I was sitting like this, I'm going to sit back here, and I'm going to be crossing and copying them, right? And I normally talk fast and a little bit excited, so I'm going to talk a little slower too. So, Mr. Smith, how long have you lived here? Great. I see your child there in the backyard playing basketball. Is that your only child? Oh, you have 2 more? Wow, boys or girls? Okay. Now the first 90 seconds I'm doing something like that. And then if I want them to change what's going on, once they're connected with me and they feel comfortable, they'll start to subconsciously match or mirror me if we have a good connection. So I don't want someone to be leaning back away, not engaged, closed off, uncomfortable. I want them to be open and in tune and maybe really engaging with what we're talking about. So after I match and mirror them, get them comfortable, I'm going to slowly kind of uncross my arms and stay here. And they'll probably do the same within the first 10, 20 seconds. If they don't, I'm going to go back to matching or mirroring because we haven't built the rapport yet. That's what it's saying. Because when people are comfortable and in rapport with you, they're going to naturally just copy what you're doing also without even knowing it. And try that with people. See how it goes. Leave some comments below of some examples of how that worked. But I do this. Okay, I get them to open up. And now they're open because they do the same thing. And we're talking. Now I might lean forward a little bit. Okay, and see what they do. Or I might point them towards something and lean forward, see what they do. I want to get people engaged and open when I'm communicating with them. So build rapport, chameleon, match or mirror in the beginning. Once you're in rapport, you can kind of dictate where things go. And if you lose rapport, you can always go back to matching and mirroring. 7% of the words, but think about this. If your story or what you like to do or your family or your business or whatever has 100 components to it that you could talk about and share, one, never share all of it right away, right? It's just throwing up on somebody. 2 is 10 or 20% of that is going to be so in line with the person in front of you that they're going to care way more about those 10 to 20% of items than the other 80%. So focus up there, figure out what that is. For instance, if someone is a young, single, adventurous, go, not really locked down in a serious relationship or have kids and they're 19 years old, I'm not talking much about them, about their future family and protecting their kids and college funds and things like that. No. I'm talking about things they may be interested in. Same thing if I know they're love kayaking and mountain climbing and bungee jumping. If I like that stuff, I'll talk about it. If I don't know much about it, but I know they like it, I might say, wow, I've never done that. Is that scary? Or how does that work? Or how do you know you're safe? And get them talking about their favorite subject, themselves and their interest. And whatever I have to talk about that they need to hear that relates to those type of things, I'm going to bring it up and leave the rest in the bag. If they hate the Portland Trailblazers, I'm not going to be talking much, if at all, about the Portland Trailblazers. So I think most of you who watch this get that, but just double check yourself and really fine tune on those points. Get into rapport, match and mirror more often, do it consciously, and then start play a game. See how people react when you start changing things. All right, guys, that's it for this week's book breakdown. If you want to get a copy of the book, check the link below in the description and apply the knowledge that you read always. Reading is good. We always hear knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. It's knowledge plus action is power. So go put this into action and join me in the pursuit of greatness.